refusing power sharing and doing power sharing can lead to different outcomes. So in Belgium, where the government was accommodating, and it realized that the unity of the country could only be secured if you share the power between the two communities, French and Dutch speaking, we got good results. But in the contrasting example of Sri Lanka, where the majority of the Sinhala speaking community refused to share the power between Sinhala and Tamil speaking, we got bad outcomes. We got a civil war. So that's how much power sharing is important. If we want to list down the reasons why we should be doing power sharing, there are two great reasons. The first reason is, which is a prudential reason, I'll tell you how. The first reason is it reduces the possibility of conflicts between the social groups. Yes, you can put the example of Belgium and Sri Lanka, because in Belgium, when the government did power sharing between the two communities, it reduced the conflict between it. If we don't do power sharing, it might lead to social conflicts. I know it looks attractive to, give the rule to the majority, the people who are in majority, but it is not a good thing in a long run in a democracy. So that is one reason. Another reason is it's a good way to ensure the stability of political order. How? So in a democracy, we know the rule is by the people and for the people. So it's the essence of democracy that we have to do equal representation. We have to give equal representation, equal rights to all the sections of the society. And how can we do that? By sharing the political power among all the sections of the society. So there are two good reasons. One is prudential as in it shows you results. One is moral, because the democracy has power sharing as its essence. Third reason, power sharing is the spirit of democracy that I just told you about. So students, until now we understood two case studies of Belgium and Sri Lanka, and we also understood why power sharing is important, because it reduces the possibility of a social conflict, it keeps the essence of the democracy in picture, and the society will be in a peaceful order, all that thing. Okay. Now the question comes, how do we actually do power sharing in a democracy? So there are various ways. In a modern democracy, the power has to be shared in the different forms of government. First way of doing it is that the power is shared among different governments at different level. How do we actually share power in a democracy? So in modern democracy, the first way of sharing power is that you can share it in different forms of government. So we know, ruling a country is a big job, and in a democracy, we want balance of power. That is how we do, that is why we do we share power in different forms of government, which is legislature, executive and judiciary. In India also we have legislature, executive and judiciary. Now all these three forms of government are at equal power, but they have different jobs. We know that in parliament, in legislature, the ministers sit and they take a decision, but the other two, the executive and the judiciary, keep actually a check on the powers of the legislature, and vice versa. So this horizontal form of power sharing, which is first kind of power sharing in democracy, keeps a balance of power. Next form is that the power is shared among governments at different level. We are talking about federalism in this point. So what we do is we make sure that the power is not concentrated in just the central government, but it is divided at different levels of government. Mostly there are two kinds of levels. One is central, the other is provincial. Some democracy don't even have any provincial form of government, but in India we know we have government at center also, state also, even a third level was added by 73rd and 74th Amendment, and we got a local level government also, so which is different for villages and which is different for urban areas. But the point is that is the second form of power sharing, where we divide the power at different levels. Now the third form of power sharing is among different social groups. Like I told you, democracy is all about its people. The people are the heart and soul of a democracy. So all the social groups, no matter they are in minority or majority, they are vulnerable or not vulnerable, we need to keep their rights secured. How do we do that? We do that by giving them equal representation in the power sharing. Some countries have it for women, some countries have it for different social groups. In India, we know that we have certain number of seats reserved for people belonging to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, and other backward classes even in the parliament. So that is our third form of power sharing in a democracy, where we divide the power in different social groups. Fourth, and the very interesting point is that we share power among political parties, pressure groups, and movements. Let's talk about political parties first. So it is advisable to give choice to the people in a democracy. And how do we do that? Political choice we are talking about. We do that by having different political parties. If there is just one political party, then how do we make sure that there is a balance of power? No, we cannot do that. So we share power among different political parties, and it is even more so in a coalition government, where not one single party is in majority and forming the government, but different parties are coming together, forming a union, and then forming the government. This also makes sure that the people who are going to vote, the people, the citizens of the country, have actually a choice. Okay, they have a choice, and they can go for the political agenda that they like. Okay. So that is one part of this point. Another part is pressure group. Now, pressure groups are groups that do not contend for political power, but they act as a bridge between the government and the people of the nation. So pressure groups are very important in a way that they give a voice, they give a political voice to the people of the nation. You will learn more about pressure groups in the next chapter of your civics book. But until now, there were these 4 points. First was the horizontal division of power sharing, legislature, executive, and judiciary. Second was at different level, basically federalism. In India, we have it at center level, state level, and local level. Then there was the third point was among different social groups to make sure that all the people have all their rights secured. Then the fourth one was power sharing among different political parties, pressure groups, and movement. So by this, we are concluding this chapter. Hope you enjoyed the session. It was a quick recap of the entire chapter, and I will see you next time with a new chapter. Until then, keep studying. Bye-bye.